Good morning. I want to talk about something that really bothered me. When I was growing up, most of the people that identified as religious were Catholic. And most of the people that were Catholic that I knew were very ungodly people. People that were abusers, people that were, would curse, had no type of sexual morality that they followed, people who were unkind, selfish, and drunkards, people who did a lot of really bad stuff. But that's the Catholics I knew. See, later on, I moved to the South. Hey there, Brian. I moved to the South where the majority of people are Protestant. There's very little Catholics out here in southern United States. And I noticed that when I came to the South, the Protestants that are here, the vast majority of them, they drink, they cheat, they lie, they steal, they abuse, they treat people very, very badly. They are selfish. They do not follow Jesus. And so it's kind of put me in a pickle, because before I saw the Catholics, I said, oh, Catholics are this way, because I wasn't Catholic. But now I'm looking at the Protestants, and the Protestants are this way. But here's the reality, that these people, whether Catholic or Protestant, in these different regions of the United States of America, the reason why they were that way is not because they were Catholic or Protestant. It wasn't because Catholics are more prone to be abusers or Protestants are more prone to be cheaters. What it was is that these people identified themselves with a particular institution or a particular way of thinking, and then abused what they were taught and became very non-religious people. So that they were only religious by name and by appearance, but inwardly there was nothing religious about them. Remember, the Bible says that pure and undefiled religion is this is the words of the Holy Spirit, to take care of the widow and the orphan, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. That's pure undefiled religion. But I look at many of the Catholics in California, and they do not practice pure religion, many of them the ones that I knew. But then here in the South, many of the Protestants that I know do not practice pure and undefiled religion, which, makes these people very irreligious. Very irreligious. Just because you claim to have religion, just because you claim to know God in one way or another, doesn't mean you're actually religious. And if you are religious, then your religion is absolutely pointless. Hey there, Janir. Hey there, Grayson, J3. And so what happens is that you get a culture that has a certain opinion, but that opinion is merely empty fluff and stuff that doesn't really believe what it wants. See, growing up, one of the reasons why I wasn't Catholic is because of the Catholics that I knew that were very, very sinful. I knew one Catholic gentleman that abused his son, and I witnessed it, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so terrible. How could he do that? The Catholic friends I knew, most of them were part of gangs. And I was like, how is this possible for this to be the truth? But then I moved to the South, and I see that, the same situation going on in the Protestant circles. And here's where the rubber meets the road, is that Jesus has called us to be religious. Religion is something that binds you. Religion is something that holds you to a particular thing. Jesus actually calls us to take his yoke and his burden upon ourselves. But his yoke and his burden is easy and light, and will bring rest to our weary souls. See, we need to get off the shackles of sin. We need to take off the shackles of merely tradition and intellectual belief. And we need to put our full faith in Jesus so that we can be religious, so that we can be bound to someone who is good and not bound to a way of thought that will justify our own sins. That will justify our own sins. And so it wasn't about them being Catholic, and it wasn't about the ones in the South being Protestant. what it is about is that people aren't following Jesus, and people aren't experiencing that redeemed life. They're experiencing the freedom from sin that Jesus offers to all of mankind, because they're caught up in going through the motions. They're caught up in just doing, checking off the boxes to make sure that they're able to stay in their church community, because maybe it brings family community to them. So they just check it off and they check it off and they check it off. But in reality, what they're doing has nothing to do with what that church actually believes. Let me see here. Someone had commented, what's your opinion on femboys? Yeah, I don't even know what that is, J3. Plantman says it should be illegal to preach if you're not a preacher. Yeah, Plantman, actually, a preacher is just someone who goes and proclaims the gospel of Jesus Christ. Maybe you're talking about like a pastor or whatnot, but Jesus actually calls all Christians to be preachers. Very interesting. Brian says, for me, unconfessed sin leads to backsliding. It does. When you hide sins, what ends up happening is that it makes it easier to commit more, because you're already hiding it at the beginning. Infinite Music says, Jesus dead. Infinite Music, you have no clue what you're talking about. Brian says, his body was never found. In fact, after he was supposed to be dead and he rose again, then the Romans actually had to bribe their guards not to tell people about that. Yeah, this person, Justin, says his body couldn't have been found if he ascended to heaven. Infinite Music says, I am God. Okay, everyone ignore Infinite Music. Either he's demon-possessed, or he's just mocking people, or he's both. So pray for Infinite Music, because he's not here to have actual conversation. So, but guys, here is the reality of the matter, is that we need to become more religious. I'm still considered Protestant. We need to become more religious so that we show a world what true light is. I know in the Protestant circles, we always sing about, how we don't have religion anymore. Or we say things like, oh, I'm not religious. I have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Religion and relationship are different. But in the Bible, religion and relationship were one and the same, according to Jesus. According to Jesus, they're one and the same. You cannot be religious and know God. You cannot be unreligious and know God at the same time. Maybe you can be unreligious and know Infinite Music, who claims to be God, but you can't be unreligious and know the true God. You can't. Jesus says, if you want to know me, you must give yourself to me. You must take my burden upon you and my yoke upon you, for my burden is easy and my yoke is light, and I'll bring rest to your souls. He has a burden, he has a yoke, but it's easy and light. It brings joy. We still have responsibilities as Christians. We still have life as Christians, but we still have things to do. We still have religion to hold to, something we are bound to. We are bound to Jesus Christ. We're bought by his blood. Bound to Jesus Christ. Alvin says who? I think he's talking to Infinite Music. Yeah, Infinite Music I think is just heckling, but I could be wrong. Maybe he's crazy. Pray for Infinite Music, guys. We got a fish, dude, says, should you do yourself a favor and read a different book? I'm not sure who you're referring to, We Got a Fish, but if you're referring to me, I actually read like lots of books. The Bible isn't one book, it's lots of books. Lots of books written by different people that just so happen to have the exact same message, even though it's been written over several thousand years. Very crazy stuff. Yeah, Alvin says the Bible is many books. But ultimately, guys, if you see someone who claims to be a Christian or Protestant, Orthodox, Catholic, and they're doing something that is obviously sinful, then don't don't blame that particular Christian group for the sin of one person. It's like these people that say, I can't be a Christian because I got abused by a pastor, or I got hurt by a priest. Okay, so you've proven that these people are terrible people and hypocrites, and they aren't following Jesus. That doesn't mean Jesus is false. That doesn't mean Jesus is false just because we hear of the Catholic priests that molested people that they shouldn't have. Like 10 years ago, that a lot of that was coming out and that was exposed. It's probably good that it was exposed. Doesn't mean the Catholic Church as a whole practices that. Doesn't mean they affirm that. In fact, they condemn that. And just like Protestant churches, we see pastors and leaders and influential people, they're committing fornication and adultery against their wives, and they're losing their position in leadership for good reasons. Doesn't mean the Protestant circles actually think that's okay. It's compromise. It's compromise. And so we should be more religious. We should be more religious than these people that compromised. We should be more religious than that Catholic man that I saw growing up that abused his son and that would beat his son. We should be more religious than that. And stop being, like Infinite Music says, stop being fake. Okay? When you're a Christian, you're real. If someone's just got a name of religion on them, but they do not follow Jesus, they're fake. Or they're very deceived. And so we need to be more religious ourselves, to take care of the orphan and widow, to take care of those who need to be taken care of, and to keep ourselves unspotted from the world, to keep ourselves away from sin and doing good. That's pure and undefiled religion, and that's the life that Jesus called us all to. Brian says, I see what you did there, Josiah. Thank you. Let's see. Ultimately, fix your teeth. Wow. Fluff says, bro, doggy teeth. Wow. These guys are insulting my teeth. Who cares? What on earth? Okay, guys. But hey, don't forget, every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. EST, I host live prayer service, Infinite Music. Fluff, you guys are welcome to come and receive prayer. If I start getting heckling and stuff on there, I won't be as graceful about it, as gentle about it. Prayer service is a very reverent time. So if I get that there, you will be blocked. But you are welcome to come if you're willing just to come to get prayer, or you have genuine questions, then, that'll be good. So may God bless you. Have an absolutely wonderful day. God bless you, Brian. God bless you, Alvin. God bless you, We Got a Fish Dude. God bless you, Justin. There's Brian again, Plantman, Grayson, Janier, J3. Yeah, God bless everybody. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye. Yes, Brian. But also, I'll probably be doing a video tonight. We'll see. You'll know. It'll probably be around 9 if I do it. So God bless.